You are at the almighty Church of Rock with a band called Tower of Swine from their Tower of Swine Pig of Anarchy EP from the early 80s. Now, originally I got that thing on cassette tape, and I saw a review of it in like Maximum Rock and Roll or one of the big magazines at the time, and I ordered it through the mail, and I reviewed Tower of Swine in my own magazine, the Bloody Mess Publications, and became friends with John Swine, the singer of this band. And then he was working for some insurance company, so the dude flies into Peoria, Illinois, where I'm living, and he's doing some training for an insurance company he's working for, and we're going to discuss what happened.
I can't wait to hear this. I did want to say that volunteers are the backbone of KSKQ Community Radio. Without volunteers, KSKQ just couldn't exist. Volunteers provide the energy that makes community radio tick, basically. So we need help in many areas: office tasks, web maintenance, social media outreach, contact list updates, technical support, newsletter writing and editing. The list goes on. So you can join our eclectic group of radio supporters. People from all walks of life, from here, the Rogue Valley community, and beyond. And guarantee that you'll be glad you did. It'll make you feel good. So if you'd like to volunteer, please go to kskq.org. Support, choose volunteer, and just download the form and submit it to info@kskq.org. And we thank you for your time, and we couldn't do it without you.
Thank you for listening to the Church of Rock at KSKQ Radio. We do have an interview with John Ilgen, a.k.a. John Swine, and I believe he's on the phone now. John, are you there?
I'm here. How's it going, man?
Good. It sounds good. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, you're a little light, but it'll do.
Okay, brother. How's that? Is that a little better?
That's a lot better. Thanks.
Awesome. John Ilgen, Sister Tracy is sitting here with me, man.
Hi, John.
Hey, Tracy. How's it going?
It's going great, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
So, I'm sure I think you heard I was talking about getting your tape from the 1980s. What year would that have been, man?
That was probably 1983. If you remember, back in those days, tapes were kind of the way to communicate and get music out there.
Yeah, and I ordered your tape from Maximum Rock and Roll. I saw a review, got it, and then I reviewed your tape, and then we became friends, and you were training, I believe, for a company you were working for, and you came to my area to train, I think.
Yeah, those are some hazy days, but what I remember from that trip specifically is heading out that way. You and I had gone back and forth through the mail a few times, gotten to know each other a little bit that way. Meeting at your place. I think I may have met your mom.
Oh, wow.
Playing some music, going to a bar, leaving the bar, going the wrong way on a one-way street, getting pulled over in the snow, field sobriety test, jail, weapons, a pitcher of beer, and then I think everything turned out okay.
Yeah, man, it was weird because we went out partying, and when we left, we were having a great time. We were actually at a bar, if I remember correctly, and I just remembered this, man, that was owned by the family of Buford Pusser from the Walking Tall movie.
Oh, my God.
It was called Pussers or something like that, but it was the Pusser family that owned it in this like redneck Illinois town we went to. And we had a blast, and we left the bar with our pitchers of beer in hand.
Yeah, see, I'd forgotten that part, and it wasn't until the cop, if you can imagine, if you remember, the cop leans into the car. I just finished the field sobriety test, and he pulls out, like it was out of a commercial on TV, this beautiful, full pitcher of beer. And I figured I had a big problem about that moment.
Yeah, and I can't remember if me and you both had it or if it was just me that had one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there was a lot going on that night.
Well, and the other part of the story is, man, besides us having fun and before the jail part, a buddy of mine was from Mexico, and he was just gotten back from a trip, and he brought me a gift back. He brought me a switchblade, a stiletto knife. And,
I remember that.
And it was just a gift because they got them like dirt cheap down in Mexico at the time. So he's like, yeah, I got you this cool gift. It was cheap, but I wanted to get you this. And I'm like, oh, that's rad. I had just turned 18, so I'm carrying around this knife, and not only did we get busted with the beer, but I had this weapons charge on my record forever now. So every time I've ever been pulled over by a cop, they always say, do you have any weapons? It's like, wow, man, really?
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Oh, man. But, it was pretty mellow. And there was another guy that was with us that night, Jason Pellegrino, who was the bass player of a band called Leviathan. And their drummer went on to be the drummer for Mudvayne, coincidentally.
Wow. Yeah, I remember. I think he was younger than us, and that was part of the problem that night.
Yeah. It became a thing of legend in that town for a little while anyway. But
it was a great night, and it was a good start to a many-year friendship.
Well, tell me this, man. When did Tower of Swine begin? Because I noticed you guys just did a reunion recently. So when did you start?
We started up in Sonoma County, about an hour north of San Francisco, in 1983, and it was just a bunch of local friends, a couple guitarists who had played together for years. I had come out of a small band called Glee Club that had just really gone no place, and we all hooked up. We started playing a lot of local parties. We stole the name from a George Carlin comedy routine and borrowed it. And, as you mentioned before, we put together a tape, did a recording of some of their stuff. Back in those days, again, we sent it into Maximum Rock and Roll. They reviewed it, and, it got a little bit of notice, so we started getting some good gigs. We played with the DKs and some other bands on the Rocker Reagan tour.
Nice.
And it was a lot of fun. We met a lot of cool people. Great band members, Binky on guitar, Robbie on guitar, best drummer. Bill is a legend in Sonoma County, and Kent on bass, and everybody hit it off. Did a lot of shows, and then after a few years, we just kind of both, we all went our own ways. And there's a festival up in that area called the Nostalgia Fest. They do yearly, and we got invited just December 2015 to go back, do a reunion gig, and it was the first time we'd all played in 30 years. So there was a kind of remote practicing to put together, and then we did the show.
Now, how much?
Went off really well, and we had an absolute blast. It was awesome.
How much rehearsal time did you actually get before the show?
Well, the guys, 3 of them still live in Northern California. The bass player's in Michigan, and I'm here in Pennsylvania. So for me, it was basically listening to music and screaming in the car while driving around trying to get my voice back.
Yeah.
And those guys would meet and play about every other week for a couple months before the gig. But we hadn't played together until the day before the show.
Well, that's cool because I watched that show on YouTube, or the footage you had sent me, and I watched it all, and it was great. You guys sounded like the tape.
The first 20 minutes were pretty rough, but it all came together. And again, we have just a great group of people, a great following up in Sonoma, so it was really cool. Got a lot of support. They forgave us our mistakes, and we've always been a band about just having a good time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we learned from the Ramones and the Angry Samoans and stuff like that, so we didn't take ourselves too serious, like you could tell from the music and the name of the band. But we were just there to have fun and make sure, most importantly, everybody else had a great time.
And I can't tell you enough how many friends I made in the early 1980s by literally ordering cassette tapes out of Maximum Rock and Roll review section. I must have made 100 friends, dude, in like 5 or 10 year period just by ordering tapes and becoming friends with people all over the country too, man. And it was really interesting. And a lot of those people are dead. A lot of people I've lost touch with. And then there's some like you and I that are still in touch and still, we've all changed a little, but we're all healthier than we used to be. And it's cool. We're all still doing it, man,
It is. It's really cool. We're still looking to do some more shows and get our guys together. But, back in those days, there was no internet. There was really nothing. So it was mail. It was records. It was cassettes, however you could get your music out. We just went locally and we're schlepping our tapes at local record stores for consignment.
Ditto.
One of the ways we got that stuff out there.
Well, if you guys end up, since you're Cali-based, the band anyway, if you guys end up doing any kind of short mini tours and you want to cruise up to Southern Oregon, we could hook up a really good show in Medford area. There's a really pretty nice little scene here that gets together and is very organic. And if I can't talk some of the other folks into putting on the show, I could do the show. One way or another, we could get the Tower of Swine a gig here. Probably the Medford Pirate Punks if they were interested, but I think they would be. Who knows?
It would be awesome. I got to tell you, and I think you know this from being in bands over the years, it had been a long time, but once we got together in one room, everybody plugged in, and the first chords hit, it's like we'd just seen each other the days before. It was fantastic, and if we got it all back in our blood, we're ready to play some more if we get a good opportunity. It's a little tough being distant, so we got to find something with a little bit of advance notice, but a trip up on the West Coast, particularly I've got family up in Washington, and we've got some friends in Oregon, so it's kind of a perfect location for us, so we'll see what we can do. It'll be great.
You could do, like, as soon as you get into Oregon, you hit Ashland and Medford. You could do that area, boom, and we could promote it here on this show, too, and then you could go either at Eugene or Portland and then Washington. Boom, there's a mini tour, plus you hit Northern Cali on the way up. Man, dude, you're set up,
Sounds like a plan.
But anyway, hey, I wanted to say thanks a million for coming on the show tonight. I really am excited about the prospect of Tower of Swine possibly playing here now. That could be really cool, man. I got a new band myself, and if it's any time in the next few months or past that, we would love to be on that bill with you, man. That'd be kind of neat.
Now you're talking. That would be an absolute blast and would be an honor to play with you. It'd be great.
Oh, ditto, bro. That'd be so fun. It'd be cool. No pitchers of beer and no knives.
Well, the knives, I agree, but we'll see about the beer.
Okay, I'll buy you a beer.
At least for me.
You buy me a root beer, I'll buy you a beer.
Deal.
Let's hear some Tower of Swine from the Pig of Anarchy EP. We're going to do a song called Halloween 8. John, thanks a million for taking the time, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy, guys. Thanks a lot.
Talk to you later, bro. See ya.
Later.
John Swine, Tower of Swine.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy. And now I'm excited. I had no idea they were going to continue doing this stuff because they're like so old school punk rock. I love them. And we're going to do a song. It's only 1 minute and 59 seconds long. It's called Halloween 8. It's Tower of Swine. We've got the Weirdos on the way. Some T-Rex. We've got a smoke session. Going to give away a T-shirt. And we've got Reed Mullen from Corrosion and Conformity coming up as well, which is going to be really awesome. And let's hear Tower of Swine. Joan Jett on the way as well, right?
Let's do it.
Man, we got some good stuff coming up. Woohoo! You are at the Almighty Church of Rock and KSKQ. Tower of Swine.
From behind, cuts off her face.